everyone, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a video that I wanted to get up in January, and it's the last week of February. So that is my 2021 reading stats survey. What is it? I don't know what I'm going to call it right now, but probably 2021 reading stats. So in 2021, I read a total of 135 books. 136 if I'm counting my DNF. So, 136 books read. I'm on Goodreads. And I had a pretty decent reading year. I had, don't know how many 5 stars. I don't want to count them, but I had a good chunk of 5 stars, and as I'm looking back on them right now, I don't want to downgrade my rating for any of them, so that is good. That means I still have the same feelings I had when I was reading them. So let's go to Jamie at Perpetual Page Turner, her reading survey. I will link that down below. So number of books I read, 136, 135. Number of rereads, now it's time to go to my cop pile. So, how many books did I reread? I don't know. I read 1.5% of a reread, so maybe one reread out of all of last year. And I think that was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Yeah. I think so. And so, next one. Genre I read the most from. That would have to be fantasy with historical fiction coming in second. And then contemporary, nonfiction, yeah. So, that. I will put my pie charts and my circle graphs right here. So, yeah, so let's go into my stats, my books read per month. March was my best reading month. I read 14 books, with May, July, and the beginning and the end of summer being the best reading months. And then I have a couple of months, January, September, and November, where I read 12 books. And then the books I read the least amount of, with 8, was August, and that is when my kids start their school year. I homeschool my 3 kids, and yeah, they're going into middle school, intermediate grades, and I gotta get ready for high school soon. So yeah. So for my reading method, I read 75% physical, 19% ebook, and then a 4.4% audiobook. So I'm trying to get more into audiobooks. I listened to a lot of classics on audio last year, and then one middle grade book that my library didn't have. I listened to it on audio, and it was really good. So the age category, I read 35% young adult, 27.9% adult, and then 2.2% children's, and 34% middle grade. So I read the most from young adult, and then second comes middle grade. I read middle grade because I read out loud to my kids, and honestly, I think middle grade teaches a lot more lessons, life lessons, than YA and adult. And series or standalone, I read 49.3% standalone and 50.7% series. Have I finished a series? Nope. And that is it for my charts. So let's get into the rest of the reading survey. So the best book I read in 2020, Iron Widow by Zirin J. Zhao. If you have not watched my favorite books of 2021, I will link it down below. Book you were excited about and thought you were going to love more but didn't. Huh. The Orphan Witch by Paige Crusher. I thought it was going to be very witchy vibes, and it was more like romance and betrayal. It was more like a thriller. No, not thriller. It was more of a mystery. Like, what the fuck is going on? And also, The Nature of Witches. I gave it a 3, but I wanted more witchy vibes and not romance. So, number 3, most surprising in a good way or a bad way book that you read. Most surprising book I read. I'll have to say Dark Spies by Matthew Dunn. This is book 4 in a Spycatcher series, and I hated book 1, and I wasn't going to continue on with the series, but I read book 2 and really liked it. Book 3 was okay, and then book 4 has to be my favorite out of the series so far. It's a 7-8 book series, so I need to finish the series this year. But yeah, Dark Spies. I think that's, yeah, Dark Spies by Matthew Dunn. Book you pushed the most people to read, and they did. I know that the book I pushed the most, and I don't know if anybody has read it, but I know that people have put it on their TBR, and that is House of Rougeau by Jenny Jekyll. It is a family saga about a woman who was a slave in Martinique and her descendants through time, and dealing with racism and LGBTQ, and like becoming the first black person to do jazz in Paris and stuff like that. So it really loved it. Do I have another one? Hedgehog of Oz by Corey Leonardo. Really loved that one. I know that Ashley was doing a live, and I just talked about it, how it made me cry twice at the end, and that so many people looked at the cover and like awed over it, and that they are planning on reading it. So yeah. Okay, number 6, favorite new author you discovered in 2020. Zirin J. Zhao. I had no idea that she was a YouTuber, so I'm subscribed to her. Let's see. Aisha Saeed. She wrote Written in the Stars, which broke me, and I absolutely loved every second of it. Matt Haig. I read The Boy Called Christmas. I want to pick up more of his works. Helen Mucker. Ginny and the Golem and the Ginny. Yes. Victor LaValle. He wrote The Changeling, and I absolutely loved it. So, yeah. Okay. So, best book from a genre you don't typically read or was out of your comfort zone. Okay, best book from a genre I don't typically read. I don't read a whole lot of classics. I maybe read one a year, and that's it. I don't go for the classics because I am bored to tears and I slug through them. But my favorite classic that I read last year was The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. And I listened to this on audio. Ben Barnes narrated it. He's the one who played Dorian Gray in the adaptation. And he is the Darkling on Shadow and Bone. And he just did an amazing job narrating this audiobook. And after I finished it, I watched the movie and fell in love with the movie. So, okay, so number 8, most action-packed, thrilling, unputdownable book of the year. And that has to go to, let me see, Iron Widow. I couldn't put down my phone. And The Golem and the Ginny. And yeah, that's it. The Golem and the Jinny and Iron Widow. I couldn't put those down. I just immediately after I finished Iron Widow, I wanted to reread it. So, okay, book you read in 2020 that you would be most likely to reread next year. Iron Widow. I may reread Heart of the Impaler by Alexander Delacroix. That it's about Vlad Dracul in Targoviste, and it's about Vlad and his brother and him fighting the Ottomans and becoming Vlad the Impaler, and him wanting this girl and only wanting this girl. No one else can look at her, and yeah, so I need to reread it. I need to get a physical copy and reread it because I read it on ebook, and I don't really... I read Iron Widow on an ebook, so I'm not even going to attempt to talk about that. So, okay, number 10. Favorite cover of a book you read in 2020? So my favorite cover has to be Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I love this cover. I also really love the cover for Spells Trouble by PC and Kristen Cast. And I really like the cover for Willow of Dark Hollow, or Willow of the Wood. Yes, Willow of the Wood and Willow of Dark Hollow. They each have like a little tiny animal, and I'm really obsessed over it. And yeah, those are my best book covers of 2021. Now, have I been saying 2020 this whole time? I'm reading the 2020 version. Okay, so most memorable character of 2021. That has to be Dorian Gray. I really love that book. Honestly, I want to reread it right now. And The Golem and the Jinny. Golem, Chava and Ahmad. Love them. I want these two books to become movies. Because I need to see Chava and Ahmad and just everything. Most beautifully written book read in 2021. Hands down, this has to go to Written in the Stars by Aisha Saeed. Like I said, it made me cry. It broke me. It made me rage against her parents and how women in the Middle East are treated. There was also another book that was beautifully written, so I have to remember what that one was. Our Last Christmas Together by Matt Michelatos. It's a short story, 42 pages, it's set between the first book and the second book of the Crescent Stone series, and it was following Madeline and Jason while they're still in the what's it called? I forget what the land is called, but they were telling stories, and Madeline's story just broke me because she told a Christmas story about her grandpa and made me miss my grandpa. So yes, I don't remember what number I was on, but I think it was favorite cover. Most memorable character of 2021. Who were you? Who do I keep thinking of? Chava and Ahmad from The Golem and the Jinny. The Darkling. I don't know. Just because Ben Barnes in the show. I keep thinking about the pigs in Animal Farm, and it's not a good thought. So yeah. Most beautifully written book read in 2021. I've answered that. Most thought-provoking, life-changing book of 2020. Written in the Stars by Said. It just made me even more sad for the women in the Middle East. Book number 14. Question number 14. Book you can't believe you waited until 2021 to finally read. House of Rougeau by Jenny Jekyll. I've had the Ark. I read the Ark. This book came out in 2018. Why did it take me so long to read it? Favorite passage or quote from a book you read in 2021? I have a couple, but the one I'm in that, there, one from Iron Widow, it's men love women for their bodies but hate us for our minds. Another one was from I Am Margaret Moore, which is one of my least favorite books of 2021. It's they live in Victorian mansions, and I need to find that quote. Hold on. One from The Changeling. History isn't a tale told once, it's a series of revisions. Did I read Artemis this year? I don't remember. Did I? I don't think I read Artemis this year. If I did, I don't yeah, I read Artemis this year. So, if my neighborhood were wine, connoisseurs would describe it as shitty, with overtones of failure and poor life decisions. Yeah. So, I'm trying to find. Okay, here's the one from Margaret Moore by Hannah Capin. It's I believe in monsters with wide smiles, beautiful and bright, that live in grand old Victorians, that push girls into the mud, that take our voices and tell us what we are. Oh, and then I read City Spies by James Ponti. And in book 2, there was a quote that just summed up every racism, all of the prejudice against minorities, and everything that just needs to be, like, it needs to be a motto. It is that damn good. And it is. But you don't have to be part of a group to understand that they're being mistreated. Justice doesn't require a membership card, just a sense of right and wrong. And I read this book right after George Floyd, and I think right after Breonna Taylor's murders, and it spoke. This quote spoke to me. Motto, spray painted on everything. It's that damn good. And then another one that just made me laugh out loud that I really relate to, it is, I have 3 kids and a 4th one they call a husband. So, yes, those are the quotes. And I'm going to answer a couple more. Shortest and longest book you read in 2020. So, the longest book I read was A Dance of Dragons by George R. R. Martin. That was over 1,000 pages. And then the shortest book I read was the prologue to Metro 2033. And that is called The Prologue to the Post-Nuclear Dystopia. And it's by Dmitry Glukovsky. And honestly, I don't remember the 2 pages that I read. Book that shocked you the most. Iron Widow. I'm going to be repeating some of the same titles. The Bone Houses. Let's talk about that. By Emily Lloyd Jones. Yeah. Nobody told me I was going to cry in this book. So, sorry I'm scaring you, Luna, but I cried. Not once, but twice in this book. Why didn't nobody tell me? Honestly. The Hazelwood. The one story, the one Hinterland story about the door. Oh my god. Don't read that book at night. Just don't do it. Okay. OTP of the year, you will go down with this ship. Chava and Ahmad. I want them to just be together always. I think... What's another one? I'm looking at my stats. I think I said in one of my reviews for Dark Spies by Matthew Dunn, I think I said Will Cochran and the girl he met on the bus, Ellie? I think her name was Ellie because there was another love interest in that book that had an E name. Those two. Yeah. But, yeah, if you hear my kids laughing, they're having fun. But, favorite non-romantic relationship of the year. I think that has to go to... Oh no, Marcel and Tuffy. Their little relationship, it was like an older brother, little brother thing. Loved it. Yes. And then, favorite book you read in 2021 from an author you've read previously. Clockwork Princess and City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. Those two were my absolute favorites that I've read from an author before. And all my other favorites came from authors that I had never read before. Or Fire and Blood by George R. R. Martin. I really enjoyed that book because of the Targaryen history and basically the history of Westeros and the Iron Throne. So, I'm running out of space on my phone, so I'm going to answer one more question, and then if you have any more other questions about my reading year that you want to know, leave them down in the comments and I will answer them. And so, best book you read in 2021 that you read based solely on a recommendation from somebody else. Peer pressure, Bookstagram, etc. Shadow and Bone. I read it for the show. And the hype. I had severe FOMO for that. Yeah. Basically, that's it. A Gathering of Shadows. That is it for this reading stats video. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully I did a decent amount of talking and information, explaining my stats and doing the survey properly. So, yeah. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video.